What defines a classic sneaker? I'm going to give you 5 criteria by which we can judge this. So let's get into it. The first criteria is age. In my opinion, a shoe has to have been out long enough, and I think 10 to 15 years is the sweet spot.
Why are you so old?
Why is age so important? Well, a shoe has had to have had enough time to be seen by the masses and to have time to reach that level of timelessness. And so I think that a shoe has to have been out 10 or 15 years to really be considered a classic, and it has to have had that shine for that long. My second criteria is hype, and there has to have been 2 defined periods of hype for a shoe or a colorway. And why is that? Well, everything is hyped when it first comes out. You talk about the new Travis Scott silhouette that he just released via a shock drop. Everybody's calling that one of the best Travis Scotts of all time. But it hasn't had enough time to be considered that. It needs to go through at least one more period of hype with the masses to be considered a classic. And I think once you get to that level, you can start considering a shoe for a classic. I mentioned it already, but my third criteria is timelessness. And what do I mean? I mean that a shoe has had to have multiple periods and been seen by multiple generations. To me, something is timeless when somebody who's old and young can look at the same thing and say, that is something that speaks to me. That is the true definition of a classic. And so something that is timeless 100% has to be considered part of this criteria. This one might be a little bit controversial, but has it been imitated or has it been faked? And when I talk about imitations, I think of something like the Air Force One being imitated by Bape.
No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
To me, imitation is the biggest form of flattery. And when it comes to it being faked, what you see a lot of times on the rep market is that people who are buying fakes of a certain shoe is because that shoe is hyped for one reason or another. There are a lot of old dunks that don't get the rep sneaker treatment, and to me, that makes them hard to consider for classics, even though they might be agreed upon as a classic. But I think if something is imitated or faked, that puts it in the category of a classic. And my last criteria, has something been retroed, remastered, or collabed. Collabs are huge these days, so if a shoe or a silhouette has gone through multiple collaborations or is having a period of collaborations,
Oh no, work with me!
to me, that means that it is a classic. And obviously something that has been retroed or remastered, there are tons of examples of this. But if you look right now at the Saucony Grid Shadow 2, it is going through a moment where we're seeing a lot of collabs. And so maybe this is its first period of hype, but being collab means that it's something that is special to the culture. What do you think defines a classic sneaker, and what are some classic sneakers to you? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.